symbolic transfer of power from British Raj to independent India, and that Mountbatten was given this by one of the Adinams in Tamil Nadu, and then subsequently it was then given to Pandit Nehru. The Congress's contention is there is no such historical evidence to back this claim. The question is, A, where does the truth lie? And B, more importantly, will this become the point of contention between the opposition and the government, in addition to what we are seeing over the inauguration of this new parliament building, where the opposition's contention is it's the president, as the custodian of both houses, who should have been inaugurating the new parliament complex. The government, of course, begs to differ.
गांधी खानदान वाकई में हमारे देश के इतिहास, हमारे देश के लोकतंत्र के बारे में क्या सोचता है?
इस विषय पे विरोध कर रहे हैं वो इस आर्टिकल को पढ़ें और थोड़ी जानकारी लें। ये जो विरोध का नाटक है वो इसके कारण वो अपने लोगों, पंडित जवाहरलाल नेहरू का भी एक तरीके से विरोध कर रहे हैं।
All right, on the talking point this evening, Sanju Verma, national spokesperson of BJP, joining us. Ashpreet Kadyal is spokesperson of the Congress Party. R. Rajagopalan, senior journalist, and Riju Datta, spokesperson of the TMC, joining us. Ashpreet Kadyal, the point that the BJP is making is they believe there was historical evidence to suggest that one of the Adinams of Tamil Nadu used this Sengol as an instrument of transfer of power, symbolically, if you will, from the British Raj to independent India, that it was given to Mountbatten, and then from Mountbatten it was taken back, and then from him, that Adinam, it was then passed on to Pandit Nehru. The contention that the BJP is making is that this Sengol was then later neglected. It was in the dustbins of history. It was kept in some museum in Allahabad, and some even alleging that Nehru used it as some kind of a walking stick. How do you respond?
First and foremost,
yes, Ashpreet. We can hear you. Go on. Ashpreet, we can hear you. Go on. I'm listening to you. Okay, we'll go back to Ashpreet in just a second. But Sanju Verma, the contention by the Congress is that there is no evidence to back the claim that this was used as a relic for the instrument of transfer of power from British Raj to the independent nation that India became on the 15th of August 1947.
You know, Zaka, first and foremost, there's a policy document, and section 24 of this policy document dated financial year 2021-22 released by the DMK government and endorsed by the Congress. And let's not forget, DMK and Congress have been allies for quite some time now. It clearly talks about the Sengol being an instrument of transfer of power. Point number one. So there is documented evidence. Point number two, the 239th seer, of the Adhinam, who is going to be a part of the ceremony on 28th May, he has also endorsed the fact that indeed a Sengol was given as a symbol of transfer of power to Jawaharlal Nehru in the presence of 20 other Adhinams, Lord Mountbatten and Rajaji, as in C. Rajagopalachari. Point number three, I will read out the tweet by Amit Shah today at 11:47 a.m., which captures the essence of this controversy, where he says, why does the Congress party hate Indian traditions and culture so much? A sacred Sengol was given to Pandit Nehru by a holy Shaivite mutt from Tamil Nadu to symbolize India's freedom, but it was banished to a museum as a walking stick. And if you ask me, do I believe, the Adinams? Do I believe the 239th seer of the Shaivite monastery is going to be a part of the celebrations? I, of course, believe him. I believe Amit Shah. Why should I believe Jairam Ramesh? Why should I believe Manish Tiwari? This is the same Jairam Ramesh. I remember, when we gave approval to Covaxin, while this is an unrelated topic, He said that the Modi government is treating Indians like guinea pigs. And today he says that these are bogus claims from WhatsApp University. So I just want to tell Mr. Jairam Ramesh, he needs to go and educate himself and learn basic history.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why. Because the Sengol, forget that it dates back to the Chola dynasty from 600 BC to 200 or 300 AD. This is when the early Cholas and later Cholas ruled. The important thing is that it is not a symbol of monarchy or imperialism as is being made out to be. It symbolizes good governance, it symbolizes strategic statecraft,
Okay.
and most importantly, it symbolizes inclusivity, because don't forget that the Chola dynasty is a metaphor here. It dates back to the Chola era, but that does not mean that we are talking of monarchy here. We are talking about the fact that the Sengol is more than just a document, a figurine, or a handshake.
Okay,
It
so
talks
let me
about
ask
the
Riju
cultural
Datta.
ethos.
Riju Datta, the fact of the matter is there is evidence to show and there are pictures to show that Pandit Nehru was presented with the Sengol. There was a ceremony that happened on the eve of India's independence. This happened on the 14th of August 1947. There are pictures of Pandit Nehru holding that Sengol along with, a golden shawl and other presents that were given to him by the Adinam in Tamil Nadu. Whether or not it was an instrument of transfer of power from British Raj to independent India is a separate matter. But what the BJP and some historians are contending is, after this event that happened on the 14th of August, no one heard about this Sengol. And the reason why they didn't hear about this was because the Congress consigned this, and the first Prime Minister consigned this to some museum in Allahabad.
Zaka, I will be the first person to raise my hand, like millions of Indians who will say that they have never heard of the Sengol until a week back. But I have learnt a little, I have studied a little about it, and I don't know whether it was there, whether it was, but it was there in a museum. So what Congress did, only Congress can answer. But I believe what the Sengol stands for, I have heard Mr. Gurumurthy explain it, and I have heard Sanjuji explain it, and I believe it stands for righteousness, impartiality, good governance, virtue, Rajdharma, justice, and inclusivity. Unfortunately, none of these adjectives can be applicable or assigned with the BJP. That is where the hypocrisy lies. And whatever has happened in this country for the last 9 years, the Sengol might represent India, its traditions, its cultures, but it definitely do not represent the BJP or its leaders. So that is point number one. We have got nothing against the Sengol as per se. But another thing I just wanted to discuss is that when this represents the southern part of India, this does not even represent only the Cholas, it represents the rich tradition of South India per se. But installing it in India to represent the rich heritage and culture of South India, well and fine. But if it is being installed in the parliament because BJP and PM Modi wants to show its newfound love for the people of South India, they have already shut their door on the BJP. So there are a lot of political questions that needs to be answered.
Okay. So let me ask R. Rajagopalan, before I come back to Sanju Verma, we're also trying to get the Congress spokesperson in the debate. R. Rajagopalan, the contention that's being made, I'm sure you must have seen this. Rajmohan Gandhi, who is the grandson of both Mahatma Gandhi as well as C. Rajagopalachari, has put out an op-ed piece today where he says, and he's also the official biographer of Rajaji, he says there is no such evidence to contend that that Pandit Nehru asked Rajaji, what would be this transfer of power, and he said that there is this Adinam in Tamil Nadu, and this Adinam will provide this Sengol, and the Sengol needs to be transferred from Lord Mountbatten to Pandit Nehru. His contention is that this whole thing does not have evidence to back the claim.
Jaka, you can also hear the other grandson, Mr. C.R. Kesavan's narration. C.R. Kesavan, who joined BJP very recently, also said that his grandfather, Mr. C. Rajagopalachari, there was some reference about Adinam, and also it is C. Rajagopalachari and Kanchi Paramacharya Periva. As we know, you know that, Kanchi Mat, 100-year-old Chandrasekhara Saraswati, he has also mentioned that. Apart from that, Jaka, why this controversy, Because this Sengol has Nandi and Mahalakshmi. Nandi is the grand symbol of the Karnataka government. It's the official symbol. But the same Congress party does not want to create an atmosphere with Nandi. They don't want to see the Nandi. And especially when it is going to be installed near the speaker's chair. Apart from that, my understanding of Sengol is very clear. As I have read many Tamil literatures, Sengol comes in every part of the Tamil epic, Tamil culture, Tamil books, Tamil works, Tamil poems, Tamil lyrics. Sengol, as it is called, very important for the kings. And also, if you go to any temple, Zaka, you come from Tamil, southern part of India. Every temple in Tamil Nadu or Kerala or Karnataka or Andhra Pradesh has got Dvajastambam. As you enter the temple, there is one tall pole which you have to prostrate before it. For deity, it is Dvajastambam. For human being, it is Sengol. That is what described in Silappatikaram and other Tamil epics. Apart from that, my understanding is Congress is making a unnecessary claim because its Palai party, DMK, which has published many articles on Sengol, many articles on Rajaji coming into the fore of giving the Sengol to Dharmapura Adhinam and the Thirinjana Sambandhara Adhinam. Therefore, these Adhinams have a right. Today also they exhibited their might in Malay Mandir in Delhi. Therefore, that Oduar have got a right to give this person. And moreover, the Prime Minister has not said it today, yesterday.
Okay.
He has said it in Man Ki Baat. He has said it in Red Fort speech also about Sengol.
So let me ask Sanju Verma, the other criticism from the Congress and other opposition parties is the Sengol represents some kind of an imperial past. It may have been okay when India was a bunch of kingdoms strung together, and the Chola dynasty, of course, was one of the biggest kingdoms in southern India. But it's not fit for this day and age. India is an electoral democracy. The passing of the transfer of power, as it were, from an imperial relic to a democratically elected leader, that is not fitting or keeping with the times. That is the contention by the Congress and the other opposition.
Zaka, I will come to your question. It's a very valid one. But before that, I just have to tell Riju from the TMC, if you keep saying BJP does not have power in southern India, blah, 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 by that logic, I should say you should not be discussing this topic at all. You're a small regional party who lost your national party status a couple of weeks back. You should be talking only on matters related to West Bengal. So please don't start being territorial in debates. Okay? Stop being puerile and churlish. Now coming to your question. Zaka, we have to understand one thing. This is not just about Sengol. It could have been anything. But the opposition, Rahul Gandhi, Mamata Banerjee, Stalin, what have you, they would have still found common cause driven by their visceral hatred for Narendra Modi to decide and boycott. For instance, the boycott of the inaugural session of the new parliament building.
Yeah.
I mean, is that even logical? They say that, the president should be doing it. They suddenly start quoting Article 79, forgetting that under Article 74(1) and under Article 75(1), as the head of the government, Prime Minister Narendra Modi in this case is the de facto head of the government, and it is his prerogative and he is well within his rights to inaugurate the new building. So they need to go and educate themselves. Have you realized when we replaced Henry Francis Light's Abide With Me, that Scottish hymn, which was played at the Beating the Retreat ceremony held every year at Vijay Chowk, we said now it will be Lata Mangeshkar's Ae Mere Watan Ke Logo that will be played. The opposition raised a sting. When we said that the Amar Jawan Jyoti at India Gate will now be merged with the flame at National War Memorial, they raised a sting. When we said we have installed for the first time in post-independent India, giving credit to Netaji Bose for who he is by installing a 28-foot statue at the canopy that was vacated by George V in 1968, the Congress and the opposition raised this thing. So the opposition basically, the only binding glue is an anti-Modi agenda. Sengol is only a bahana.
All right, Sengol is just a bahana. Let's see if Ashpreet Kadyal of the Congress is there on the line. We'll try and see if we can go back to him. But Riju Datta, time and time again, let's leave the Sengol aside for a second. What the BJP's contention is, Congress or left-wing aligned historians, etc., have, completely shunned India's real history, India's ethnic history, history that is rooted and grounded in our own story and instead gone for this whitewashed history, a history that has been, written down by the white man from the white man's perspective. The Sengol, whether or not it was used as an instrument for the transfer of power is besides the point. What is important is that it was consigned to the dustbins of history by Jawaharlal Nehru, and that's why the BJP is now, after 75 years, is reviving that tradition.
Yes, Zaka, see, I don't see anything wrong in reviving Indians' heritage and culture. There is nothing wrong. But if a political party, BJP, is turning into archaeological survey of India, that is their matter completely. But I just want to say this, that, it is not about the Sengol, it's not about the Sansad, it is not about anything. The opposition parties, when we are talking about the temple of democracy, democracy only stands if there is opposition. So why this inherent hatred towards the opposition? The opposition is what defines democracy in this country. But there is one party and one leader who is hell-bent on rewriting history. He is rewriting the history of this country, rewriting all the traditions of this country. And from 2014, there is a new trend that we have to somehow come into public light and show that we belong to a particular religion, because that gives you a stamp of authority. I don't know what this new country symbolizes.
Okay.
But my country, as I understand, is inclusive, is secular, and is for all, which not a political party, but the book that governs this country, the Constitution says. And
okay.
I believe
so
in that.
R. Rajagopalachari, R. Rajagopalan, what Riju Datta is basically saying is, the Sengol symbolizes a religious sort of point of view or a religious transfer of power. He is saying that India as a secular, multicultural, multi-faith democracy would perhaps be better served if the Constitution, the book that guides our parliamentary democracy in this country, if the Constitution was kept embedded next to the speaker rather than the Sengol.
Even the Constitution book carries Rama's photo, Hanuman's photo, Sita's photo. What would Mr. Riju Datta say about it? It contains Ram Mandir. Therefore, my understanding, Jaka, opposition has no point in this. The reason being, Narendra Modi is outsourcing everything. Narendra Modi, as I said, chore. He brought Chaukidar chore in tweet. Today, Narendra Modi issued a video and asked the citizens to participate and give their views. Therefore, Narendra Modi enlarges it to 140 crore people, whereas Congress is shrinking. They are even today, the Congress spokesperson, unfortunately, due to technical glitch, he could not join. Thereby, technical also, they are ignoring Congress. The people have ignored Congress in 2014 and 2019, and glitch also ignores Congress.
Okay. Sanju Verma, yeah.
Mr. Rajagopal made a very interesting point. I want to focus on this also, Zaka, because in the narrative that is being peddled for and against Sengol, there have been many tweets by opposition parties who are saying that the Sengol is a symbol of Hindu supremacism. Then, as Mr. Rajagopalan said, on many Sarkari logos, you have the word Satyamev Jayate written. On many Sarkari logos, including many books of the Supreme Court, you have Yato Dharmastato Jaya written. You have Dharmo Rakshiti Rakshita written. So are you saying that the Supreme Court logo, the RNW logo, the Sarkari logos which have Satyamev Jayate written are symbols of Hindu supremacism? This is puerile politics at its very worst. And I will tell you something. Riju made a lot of allegations that, the BJP is anything but democratic, anything but just, anything but good governance is what the BJP signifies. I want to say this. While Mamata Banerjee obviously cannot be compared to a towering leader like Narendra Modi, but since we are discussing issues and I want to expose the TMC's hypocrisy, I remember in 2018, KM Tripathi was the governor and Mamata Banerjee refused permission to him to visit the Asansol riot victims. What do you say to that? 3 dozen universities in West Bengal. Can I finish? 3 dozen universities in West Bengal in 2021, Zaka, when the current Vice President Jagdeep Dhankar was then the Governor of Bengal. Mamata Banerjee appointed these Vice Chancellors to over 3 dozen universities without prior approval or consent of the governor, which is the constitutional protocol.
Okay.
So you remember constitutional protocol now because you're driven by hatred for Narendra Modi.
Zaka,
You
Okay,
have no logic.
once again, okay,
You
Riju
have no
respond,
logic
after
to your
which
argument.
Rashid Kidwai is also joining us. Riju, quick response, yeah.
A quick response, I will only give you a very quick response. Mamta Banerjee, 7-time member of parliament, first female railway chief minister, first female coal minister, first
She
female
has
youth
no
and sports
parents
minister.
outside
Let me
Bengal.
just finish.
Ma'am, please,
She has
with
no
due
parents
respect,
outside Bengal.
ma'am, please, with due respect, Riju,
You
only Riju, thank you, yeah, Riju.
Thank you, Zaka. I will only say this: Mamata Banerjee, first railway, 7-time parliamentarian, first female railway minister, first female youth and sports affairs minister, first female coal minister, 3 times chief minister of West Bengal, the only female chief minister of West Bengal. So that particular CV is much better, even if people don't like it, than the Prime Minister of India. Number one. And number two, Sanju ji said we are a regional party. Yes, we are a regional party. But on the last 5 years, in 4 big central force controlled elections, we have crushed Mr. Narendra Modi and their BJP, the world's largest party.
Okay,
So they should also
let me
about
ask Rashid Kidwai. I want to bring the debate back to this whole business around the Sengol. Now, whatever the history of it may be, you can contend with it, you can dispute it, so on and so forth. Today, there are multiple articles. The historian Santosh Saravanan, who's put out that there is no evidence of this whole transfer of power instrument, as it were. Rajmohan Gandhi, who's the grandson of Mahatma Gandhi, and Rajaji has also said that he has not heard of this transfer of power instrument. But be that as it may, the larger point that the BJP is making, Rashid Kidwai, is this is just symbolic of how the Congress has ignored India's history, the real history, which is rooted in our land, which is rooted in our people, and instead gone for this whitewashed, white man's version of history, if you will, this colonial version of history. What we need is to take India back to what it was pre the British Raj.
So Zaka, this is obviously as a political formulation. This has always been since time of our independence been a bit of a gray area. How much of religious symbol somebody can say this, whatever was there about Sarnath, our Emperor Ashoka, that also had some religious background. So therefore, that's why I'm saying this is a gray area. But I think the government of India should have involved everyone. And this was something could have been dealt in a much better way. Let me give you that only designated leader of opposition is Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge, who's in Rajya Sabha. As you know, there is no leader of opposition in the Lok Sabha. They should have invited him, and that would have solved a lot of problems from the beginning. So there is a complete trust deficit. See, Zaka, you can accuse the Congress of not having this colonial hangover or whatever. So many political parties. And the parties which have been opposed to Congress tooth and nail in the past, and some of them even in present, so many political parties cannot be wrong. So
No. One second, Sanjay, one second. No. The reason why the opposition parties are boycotted, as you very well know, Rashid, is because they believe the president should have been the one who's inaugurating. They feel that the president was insulted. It has nothing to do with the opposition not being invited. But I'm coming back to this point of the Sengol. The point of the Sengol being that the Congress and Pandit Nehru consigned this to sort of some dustbin of history because it was a very Hindu relic.
Yes.
It was passed on by the Adinam, one of the seers of Tamil Nadu. It had a Nandi on top, which is a very Hindu symbol. In fact, you go to any Shiva temple in the country, it has a Nandi right outside facing the Shivling. That Pandit Nehru abhorred the Hinduness of Indian society and Indian culture, that he said, there's no way that this can fit in with a secular country, which was his vision of how India should be.
Zaka, I think this is a very
Exactly. Zaka, can I come in?
Rashid, yeah. Rashid.
Nehru. I mean, if you look at his whole discovery of India and all, somebody can, dub it as a, bit of a, revivalist. Pandit Nehru was very proud of country's heritage and the past. It's reflected in his book, reflects in his conduct. That purposely I chose that word, that grey area, because a lot of practices at the time of independence had religious connotation, while our country said that it is secular, not exactly in a westernized sense. The state has no religion. There were a lot of correspondence was also there between Nehru and Gandhi, and this particular thing that you're talking about, as Mr. Rajmohan Gandhi has rightly pointed out, there is not so much of record. So this is also a neglected one. But to accuse Nehru of that, I think this is a bit unfair.
Okay, Sanju Verma, yeah.
Okay. Zaka, with no offense to Rashid Kidwai, just on a lighter note, he said, can so many opposition parties be wrong? Sir, by your logic, 23 crore people voted for the second time with a thumping majority Narendra Modi back to power in 2019. But till this day, you don't give credit to those 23 crore voters. You say so many people voted for him. You talk about him as a majoritarian politician. So let's not draw, silly analogies. I will say why Nehru was not just an atheist or an agnostic. May I please finish? I will tell you, Zaka, why Nehru was not just an agnostic or an atheist. Nehru was Hindu-phobic. And we all know this is there in umpteen history books, including massive volumes written by one of the best historians ever, R.C. Majumdar. You have to read his 11 volumes. Nehru's letter in March 1951 and in April 1951 to Rajendra Prasad and to his cabinet minister K.M. Munshi, where he clearly tells Rajendra Prasad, Rajendra Babu, I do not think it is appropriate for you to go for the spectacular opening of the Somnath temple. I wish somebody else could do it, because this might seem like a symbol of Hindu revivalism. So that is Jawaharlal Nehru for you, and I'll tell you why Prime Minister Modi is secular. He was very comfortable visiting Pope Francis in October 2021. He's as comfortable placing a chadar at Ajmer Dargah, and he's as comfortable wearing his Hindutva on his sleeves at the Bhumi Pujan of the Ram Janmabhoomi temple. That is the secularism that Narendra Modi signifies.
It comes down to the definition of secularism. The BJP's contention is Mr. Modi, and you can accuse him of whatever you want, but Mr. Modi's government does not discriminate when it comes to welfare schemes, whether you're Hindu or Muslim or any other religion.
If you put this question across to the open public of this country, they will start laughing their heads off. This is unbelievable statement. It is complete lie.
That is why you won 0 seats in Goa.
I believe if BJP wants to portray what they are representing, they have majority in the Lok Sabha, they have a majority in the Rajya Sabha, they might as well go ahead and change the constitution, because they have the power to do so. So let them do it. But before doing that, if they say they do not discriminate, they're impartial, they're inclusive, they follow the Raj Dharma, then people of this country will just laugh at their faces.
Okay, we'll leave it at that. Riju Datta, Sanju Verma, Rashid Kidwai and Mr. Rajagopalan, thank you very much for joining us. So the big inauguration of the new Parliament building is going to be on Sunday, and we will have live coverage starting 7 a.m. here on CNN News 18, India's #1 news channel. I'm going to take a quick break. When we come back, the inauguration of the new Parliament is a contention between the ruling Treasury benches and the opposition. CNN News 18 gets you a special program from Kartavya Path as this political war rages on. My colleague Maria Shakil with an exclusive roundtable right after this quick break.
Whereas it should have been in a very profound place. These are all issues. But that it went into a museum and somebody described it as a walking stick is all matter of shame. I don't want to get into it. It's a matter of fact. It is the people who did it who will have to explain. And I think this government, in my view, will have to cause an inquiry as to how a high national symbol receives such a treatment. I don't want to go beyond that.
Okay. Mr. Gurumurthy, my last question to you. Is this just the beginning? Will there be, or should I say, should there be more pieces of history that we'll find out about in future?
I don't know. If such pieces of history is there, it must be brought out. But I don't know. Because I can only speak of what I know, what I found. And I cannot speak of what I don't know. But if such a thing exists, then it has to be brought out. Because no country can ignore its history. Even the Marxists who ignored the history, Xi Jinping has begun recalling 5,000 years of Chinese history, Chinese civilization.
Minister Narendra Modi will install the Sengol in the Lok Sabha, prominently close to the Speaker's podium. Where did this idea of Sengol come from? It's historical evidence, if you can recall for our viewers.
See, the idea of Sengol being in Parliament is probably the government's idea and the Prime Minister's idea. But the fact that the Sengol ceremony took place and it had high value and profoundness was brought to the notice of the government by the dance artist Dr. Padma Subramaniam. She translated an article which I had written in the Tughlaq, citing various evidences that the ceremony took place. She translated that article and wrote a mail to the Prime Minister sometime in 2021, I think June or July, and she felt that this must be made public because this incident is not known and the Sengol has disappeared. But it was a very great event which the national leadership had agreed in 1947. And it was she who wrote that letter, and that triggered the government into action. But that was in the context of the 75th year of India's independence. And I think the place where it should be, obviously it has to be in a high place, and the Prime Minister felt the place where it should be is the Parliament.
Mr. Gurumurthy, we are seeing a lot of opposition come in on Sengol, and the Congress is of that opinion that there is no recorded history or no evidence to suggest that it actually symbolizes transfer of power, and if anything, this is distortion of facts.
I tell you, it's a very unfortunate thing they are speaking against record. It is all proved by the several testimonies available that the event took place. The only point which the Hindu newspaper had raised today was whether it was in fact given to Mountbatten, taken back and then given to Pandit Nehru. It is the first part which was disputed. That the second part was never disputed. It is not being disputed. It is completely proved. Whether it was given to Mountbatten and taken back from him and given to Jawaharlal Nehru was disputed, and there also the Hindu said it is on thin evidence. But unfortunately, the Hindu newspaper did not look at the most crucial evidence which was available in the compilation itself, which it is referred to as thin evidence, that the Adinam's contemporaneous record had described the whole event. And it is not done today. They had recorded it in 1947 itself, that this is how it took place. And they have said that Mountbatten asked Pandit Nehru what should be the ritual to be followed, and Nehru was confused.
On 15th August 1947, independent India's first Prime Minister, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, delivered a speech in the Constituent Assembly inside the Parliament. I'm going to quote a part of that speech because that was called the Tryst with Destiny. He said, "A moment comes, which comes but rarely in history, when we step out from the old to the new." We are stepping out from the old to the new. Hello everyone, and welcome to this special broadcast where I'm coming to you live with both the Sansads right behind me. We have Professor Makhan Lal, who's a historian. Next to me, Sonal Mansingh, who needs no introduction, but still I'll say she's also a member of parliament. Also, Krishna Raju, member of parliament of the YSRCP, and Radhika Khera, representing the Congress. Sonal Mansingh, how excited are you to step inside the new Sansad? And when you listen to this entire controversy, whether it should be about protocol, about, Sengol, what are your thoughts?
First of all, I'm in great excited anticipation. Can't wait. It's only day after tomorrow that I look forward to stepping in and listening to the speeches and really seeing the Sengol. And the Sengol is, of course, the Dharma Danda, the Raja Danda, and this is in the tradition of the democracy of India, which goes back thousands of years. And secondly, the controversy is the second name of Indian politics. So without controversy, there is no interest in life. And every day when I go abroad, I miss all this, you know.
So you have started relishing controversy around everything. Or will you not be saying, ma'am, that when it is about a young nation such as ours having that very important moment where aspirations of millions, billions are being realized, it should be free from controversy. It should be about rejoicing.
It's an old nation with a new identity at the moment, because thousands of years and now 75 years pitted against that. Never mind, as I said, that without controversy, any issue does not really gain importance. Second thing, that on such a historic occasion, if everyone doesn't come together, so be it, because each one to their own buddhi.
Okay.
One would have expected.
Okay, so you are of the opinion it's all right if...
It's not all right. I said it's expected that everyone comes together. But if they don't, how can you force anyone?
Okay, Radhika Khera, you cannot be forced, and 18 other political parties who are standing with the Congress cannot be forced. But do you think it would have been better had it not been about this boycott? It should have been about, let's come together, celebrate the new Indian Parliament.
Celebrate our Rashtrapati being insulted. I think it's pretty shameful that you are celebrating and you want to celebrate that the President of India, who is the first tribal woman President of India, is being insulted in this manner. She is the first citizen of the country and you're insulting her, and it is her right to inaugurate the parliament. Why is the Prime Minister so insecure that someone else's name will go down in history? Why does he only want his name? After all, at the end of the day, Modi Sarkar ka hi naam aayega, that they are the ones who build the new parliament. He will get that credit forever. Why? What is the harm in letting, and what harm? That is her right. Like I said, she is the first citizen of the country. Why is the Prime Minister so insecure? And it is very, very sad day for the country that she has not been invited.
Okay. Krishna Rajuji, you know, YSRCP, your party president, was the first one of the regional parties to come out in support of the new parliament, and they said that, you know, it will be about that grand celebration and your party will be part of it. The point being made about protocol. Is this right to raise the issue of protocol now?
See, let me give my opinion as a member of parliament. It's not that I belong to X party or Y party. As an independent, as a member of parliament, first I have to give my opinion.
Sure.
It should not be party based, it should be individualistic as far as this is concerned. Just because, suppose if had it been my party disagreed, even then I would have supported.
And you would have participated?
I would have participated.
Okay.
So, the Honorable Prime Minister, earlier he has laid the foundation. Why did not anyone talk about this at the time?
Okay, so you are of the opinion that the opposition should have happened at the time of inauguration?
Even at the time they should have, if at all they are keen. Just for the sake to create controversy, they are creating controversy. As Sonal Mansingh ji said, controversy is good. Controversy is good for good publicity. But when the Honorable Supreme Court also did not agree for this logic, and when the bench an hour back it has dismissed some petition filed by someone. So it's for the sake of argument, but who's the Prime Minister? Prime Minister has been elected by the public, and okay, many people were talking of, I had gone through the proceedings in the Supreme Court, they were talking of Article 76. Article 76 talks of the President, the Council of States, which is the Rajya Sabha, and the Lok Sabha. And the head of the Lok Sabha is the people's representative, is the Honorable Prime Minister. So what is wrong in the Honorable Prime Minister who has laid the foundation and who could complete that in a record time, to, with his own hands, if he is doing the inauguration, As a member of parliament, yes, even if as a political party, even if they would have felt that, okay, had it been Honorable President, it would have been better, but there is no point in boycotting such a great
Yes, so
function.
why boycott? You know, the point being made here is that the Congress party also boycotted the GST midnight session. At that time, both the Prime Minister and the President were present. So you have insulted the President and the Prime Minister then also. So in what capacity then are you talking about insulting the first citizen?
Let me make a few things clear. When Sir talked about that we did not raise our voice when the foundation stone was being laid, and our former President Ramnath Kovindji, who was a Dalit leader, earlier, he was insulted. We did raise our voices and we made it very clear that that the Bharatiya Janata Party was also then insulting the President. So it is not that we did not raise that issue. Second thing, when he talks about that the Prime Minister he's the executive head of the Lok Sabha, absolutely. But the President, it's the President first, then you have both the houses coming under. So the President is the absolute head. So why not the President? Like I said,
why not the President?
May I say something?
Yes, please.
I'm sure that this has been done with the total advice, suggestion and agreement with the President, Honorable President and Honorable Vice President. I don't think Honorable Prime Minister would do anything like this, of this nature, without talking to them. So we cannot presume that this is not done, this is done in their ignorance. Number two, I would like to say quickly that about the controversy, it's like the black dot on the moon. Nazar utaro, uske liye hum kala tipki lagate hain. So I look at it from that point of view.
Okay, Professor Makhanlal, you know, this entire issue which has been raised with regards to Sengol, you know, whether it actually symbolizes transfer of power. The Congress says no, the BJP says yes.
As a historian,
yes, please, historian,
as a historian, let me remind first two words. So much is being made out. Dalit president, tribal president. If you have such a regard, why did you oppose their election? Why did you put the candidate against them? Number one, if you have such a regard, hold on, I'm coming on that. President is the first person, first citizen in the country. So also the governors, the first president in the state. What happened when annexation was inaugurated by Mrs. Gandhi? Was there no president at that time? What happened when library building was inaugurated within the premises of present parliament? Was there no president? In what capacity Mrs. Sonia Gandhi inaugurated Manipur Vidhan Sabha? In what capacity? Was there no Rajyapal? In what president? She inaugurated Chhattisgarh, she and Sonia Gandhi and Rahul Gandhi, they inaugurated Chhattisgarh Vidhan Sabha. In what capacity? Was there no Rajyapal? After all, when you talk about president, you talk about Rajyapal also. You look at your own conduct also.
So Radhika, the point is being made. I'll come to you on Sengol because since you have talked about history, you know, the question is that Congress in itself, you have not followed protocols. Yeah. So in the sense that you have Mrs. Gandhi, not even being an executive head, has gone ahead and inaugurated because it was her party governing those particular states.
I'm sorry, but jise kehte na, I don't want to use that word. Sir is very senior, so I will not use that vaicharik ke upar Hindi word hai. But you know, comparing the governor to the president, I'm sorry, sir,
both
you can't compare.
Have their own place in the constitution. No comparison. Sorry, don't distract. Don't please distract.
Let me complete.
The governor and president both have the independent position in the constitution.
Let me complete.
And president's position in the country same as Rajyapal in state.
Please let me complete.
Please don't distract like this.
Go ahead, Radhika. Yes, do not compare the president and the governor. Second thing, by saying that the Congress did this, I'm sorry, that's a very, very very, very useless argument that is why we are going to insult the president of the country, because Sonia Gandhi ji inaugurated that. So we are, and comparing an annexee which was inaugurated.
You don't think governor was?
Please maintain some.
Governor was insulted. You don't
I'm sorry, I cannot
Here
shout.
President is being insulted.
Sir, please.
Not governor.
Let's maintain that.
Okay,
respect,
okay.
please.
Annexee
Let me
and
complete.
library building, please.
Comparing a library building or an annexee building to the entire parliament again is like comparing apples and oranges just because they're fruits.
Just look at the background. You have the new Indian Parliament and the old Parliament of India. This is what new India is. You know, everything that has been associated with the new structure, the Central Vista project, has been opposed by the opposition.
So the old parliament was also made by the Indian people money. The workers who worked to build that parliament were also Indian labourers. The sandstone which was made use was also from India. And it is, how old is the Indian parliament? There are countries in the world, whether it's France, England, or the US, who have hundreds of years old buildings.
When I walk in the old parliament, I have to look every step down because there are upper khabar, slabs, there are iron things. It has just been holding up. It's been 1927 to 2023. And even Congress and Sheila Dikshit and so many of their people and everyone has said that we need new parliament building with the increasing number of members of parliament, increasing number of states and facilities. So that way I should keep all my torn saris because they've been there and not get any new cloth for myself, or not repair the house, or not go into a new house. No, I don't think this kind of a thing holds. New parliament is done by Indians. That was done in the British Raj, number one. Number two, it was a symbol of the British Empire, the imperial India, not democratic India. Okay. So I think we need to remember all these things, and we should welcome that so much thought and planning has gone into building this new parliament building. I can't wait to enter it.
You can't wait to enter it, but Professor Markanlal, let's put the focus on Sengol, because the entire debate around that.
I'm sorry that entire debate is not around that. As you saw that it is being distracted in all the direction. But the fact is every independent state has a symbol, and Sengol is the symbol coming at least from our recorded, not memory goes long back, recorded history is 7th century AD, almost about 1500 years. This is there. There are two symbols called Rajdand and Dharmadand. Dharmadand is held by the chief conscience keeper guru of the state, and Rajdand is held by the ruler. Recently, when Prince Charles' coronation was done, did you see the Rajdand being handed over to him? If not, what was being seen? Number two, this is a symbol exactly like flag, and Rajdand is always along with the one who is the chief. Here the Rajdand means parliament chief, and it is put exactly where it should be, where everyone sits as a member, including Prime Minister. He sits there as Prime Minister, but first he is a member. And Rajdand is above him. Just look at the location of it. And look at Rajdand is above, being placed than the Speaker. Certain things have to be understood in terms of tradition, in terms of symbol and the weight they carry. It's very important. All those, let me tell you, this was, I come from Allahabad. I had seen this. I had seen this first in Allahabad Museum, Municipal Corporation Museum, and then Anand Bhawan. I was born and brought up in Allahabad. Abhi bhi roz har 4 mahine mein jate hain. It was said, walking stick, golden walking stick given to Jawaharlal Nehru. Why it was said? I am putting on the card, hear this carefully. In 1953, a delegation, French delegation came to India, travelled all over. Pondicherry was their first and last destination, obviously. Mother was there. They asked for the time to Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru. Time was given 10 minutes, and they praised, French delegation praised India's culture, civilization, its people, and say, future of the world lies following India. And Jawaharlal's reply was, you are praising the very same things I am trying to destroy. ये published है, French में भी है, English में है. I'm saying this on open on channel. I have said this on Sansad channel also.
Okay.
If the man was thinking I am trying to destroy everything, और उनका अपना लेख है, penned by him. I am a Hindu by accident. I am a British by education, and I am Muslim by culture, civilization, and taste. That is his own article.
Okay.
How can you expect any justice to Indian system?
So the
I'm
point,
quoting
the point
him,
here is,
not to anybody else.
and you have seen in the last few hours, several union ministers have done a lot of fact checking, as they say, to points that have been made by the Congress leaders. The charge is that the Congress party hates India's tradition and culture.
Where was the government for 9 years? Were they sleeping? Why did they not bring it to the old parliament? Were they sleeping for 9 years? अगर इतना बड़ा हमारे देश का ट्रेडिशन है, इतना हमारा कल्चर है, 9 साल आप सो रहे थे, कौन सी कुंभकर्णी नींद में थे? For 9 years, why were they sleeping over it? They did not know about it for 9 years? He knows about it for long. Okay. It was there in the Allahabad Museum. It was there everywhere.
May I put in my word? Thank you. My colleague, the eminent dancer, Dr. Padma Subramaniam, has said on television channels that she translated an article in Tughlaq, the Tamil weekly, monthly, into English, which talks about Sengol. And for the first time, and she sent it to Prime Minister with her own note. And that is how the whole, because she's a historian like I am, you know, we are students of history, and nobody seems to have heard about Sengol till then. Another thing that the Tamil scholars now say that Thiruvalluvar, the great Tamil saint, poet, and the Thevarams are all about that. They speak about Sengol. Andal, who is like the Meera, our Meera in South India, she has sung, and the word Sengol appears there. The Chola dynasty, particularly the Cheras, the Pandyans also, but the Chola dynasty. Now we are not talking of monarchy, we are talking of the common good of the people. And this becomes a symbol of the state, the adhikar, the dharma, the justice for everyone. And it is not that Prime Minister is holding it in his hand, not like King Charles. That will be placed above everything. So I think there's a symbolism that we need to really appreciate and understand.
Okay.
They're given the supremacy to the Lok Sabha.
Yes.
Or the Parliament. So Parliament is supreme, where all the rules of the soil were made, and that supremacy is given to the Parliament, and the Prime Minister has kept it at the right place. He did not keep it with him, as ma'am clearly said. He has given that as the power to, he has enhanced, the Honorable PM has enhanced the power of the Parliament. He said, this is the house, this is the Union of States where the rules of the soil were made, and this is the supreme. The supremacy has been protected while protecting the tradition of the country as well as the supremacy of the Parliament. Hats off to the Honorable Prime Minister for this wonderful move of bringing the Sengol to the right place at the right time.
So finally, the Sengol is coming to the Parliament and is being given its right place.
Like I said, why was it not given its place for 9 years?
He's
why
not there.
Why does everything build up?
I just mentioned,
why not
if you heard me, I just talked about that.
Can I speak for a minute?
And very sad that same respect is not being given to the first citizen of the country. The Prime Minister goes on his trips when somebody unke pair chhute, वापस unke pair chhute. The Prime Minister should go and touch the feet of our President and apologize for not inviting her also. It's very sad.
Yes. This is a very solemn
sad day for the
democracy. For the nation. And let us remember, from 1992, during the time of Narasimha Rao as a Prime Minister and Ghulam Nabi Azad as a Parliament Secretary, discussion has gone on among all the parties, and they have all agreed that we should have a new Parliament. During Meera Kumar's time, plans were made. It's just another thing that project is being completed during different regimes. Regimes keep changing, but Parliament is institution we all must learn to respect and participate, forgetting everything. Today somebody else is in power, tomorrow you will be power.
Yes.
Don't forget.
The structure of Parliament will remain.
Yes. Parliament is going to remain, and all of you have been party to the decision that we should have a new Parliament building.
And perhaps the Honorable President of India would have authorized the Prime Minister to do this.
It is not without the consultation.
Otherwise,
a very simple basic question in layman's language. जब आपके घर में कोई बीमार होता है, उसको कैंसर होता है या बड़ी बीमारी होती है, तो पहले आप इलाज पे पैसे खर्च करेंगे कि वो ठीक हो, कि आप जाके नया घर बनाएंगे. That is how you manage. Of course, it could have been made after Corona was done.
That debate was settled long back.
You remember those scenes when our workers had to travel barefoot?
No, but
you
why
see
is that
job
being raised
losses
now?
are we saying we don't have money to build even our own office? Are we so poor? Don't we have money to even build an office for the
questions?
Yes. So Sonal Mansingh has a question. Please go ahead.
Yeah. So in time of Meera Kumarji, when she was speaker, this was already drawn out.
Yeah.
Then why was it not the work not started?
So let me make this very clear. We are not against the new parliament building being made. We are questioning the timing. Let me complete.
Answer my question.
I'm answering your question. I'm coming to that and I will answer it. I'm not the Bharatiya Janata Party that I will shy away
You don't
from
have
the
to be
questions.
so sarcastic, madam, at every sentence.
That's ma'am, you can't decide how to talk.
Please go ahead, Radhika, go ahead. Yes,
Let me talk.
an independent MP.
Yeah. So let me complete. So there is a time and place for everything. Like I said, जब आपके घर में कोई बीमार होता है, तो आप अगर नया घर बना रहे होते हैं, तो उसकी construction you stop it. That is the same way. When the COVID was a problem in the entire world, not just India, we've seen how people have died. We've seen how oxygen was not available in our own Delhi. The Prime Minister was in Delhi. The government, the central government is in Delhi. The state government failed. Yet the government did not come to help people
the
of
debate
Delhi.
back on this because that has been
people
settled
on the road.
Not true.
This can never be settled because when the country needed the money, the parliament was being built.
I'm saying
fact check, please.
Yeah.
Not true.
Okay, let's start wrapping this conversation.
I
am just trying to understand, could the opposition, 19 parties that have come together and boycotting this, have handled it differently? It was not about protocol clearly. This is about one-upmanship which is playing
I'm sorry,
out.
it's clearly about protocol.
Yes.
Like I again said, the first Dalit woman president, the first tribal woman president. You first insulted Ramnath Kovind ji. You did not let him lay the foundation stone.
Then you
insult President Draupadi ji. Why? Why is she not invited?
Okay.
Why is she being taken away the right?
As
women, all three of us should be standing with her. That she
as
is a
member
woman
of parliament
president.
of ISRCP, your thoughts on the on 28th? It's how do you look at that day? Because for every citizen of India, that will be a day to watch out. Everybody will be clued into television sets to watch the entire ceremony.
Yes, it's a special day for every Indian. So the building being built by British, we are coming out of that and we are entering our own parliament building built by us, and it is indeed the most prestigious moment. We are all looking forward for that time, and when it would become 12 on 28th, 12 p.m. on 28th, we are all looking for that. And I wish, whatever may be the differences with regard to whether it has to be built or not, that has been the main question as it appeared from ma'am's talk. So it has been built. It has been built with public money, and we all must respect that. And every Sansad, if he is a serious Sansad, must attend this, and as ma'am said, and only with the order of the Honorable President Draupadi Murmu ji, the Prime Minister is
Okay.
Well, I hope the
doing
president
this.
comes in.
Professor, a quick thought from you, and then ma'am gets the final word.
I personally feel that this parliament, new parliament, is a pride for this country. Till date, we had no parliament. We had the Princess Chamber built by British. It was not named parliament, it was renamed parliament. Now we have a real parliament built from our own vision, of our own vision, and for our own vision. My earnest request to all of them is, leave the Princess Chamber behind, move into Parliament of India. That is what I will request to all of them.
Wonderful, sir.
I totally agree with Professor Makhanlal ji. I agree with him, and Radhika ji, namaste to you for raising certain issues. Thank you. Last word, let a most prosperous and auspicious period of Indian history begin with this wonderful, wonderful ceremony day after tomorrow, 28th May 2023. I salute my new parliament, the Sengol, and I salute my nation, Bharat. Vande Mataram.
Okay, on that note, I think we should just end this conversation. Yes. Thanks so much for watching.
Padma Subramaniam. She translated an article which I had written in.
Namaskar and a very warm welcome. You're watching Vantage. I'm Akanksha Swarup. Our top story tonight is the war in Ukraine. Russia has made a big move. It has started moving nukes to Belarus. The conflict is intensifying. Ukraine wants to counterattack, so Russia has decided to play the nuclear card. Its biggest leverage, also perhaps its last bargaining chip. What is Moscow's endgame here? Does it want a swift end to the conflict? We'll discuss. Also on the show, we could soon witness the climate